first ingredient in the label has to be meat. If it says chicken, lamb, or beef, it means real chicken, real lamb, and real beef meant for human consumption. These are the prime meats. If the label says meal, it simply means that the meats have been dried and processed. This is a good thing because meal contains 300 times the protein of fresh meats simply because it's been dehydrated and it's more concentrated. It's a good thing to see on the label. So it can say chicken meal, lamb meal, beef meal. It's absolutely fine. The second definition is byproducts. What is a byproduct? A byproduct in the pet food industry means those parts of an animal that are not fit for human consumption. They can be the beaks, the feet, brain, kidney, intestines, and stomach. They cannot be feathers, fur, teeth, or hooves. And where do these byproducts come from? They come from dead on arrival animals to the slaughterhouse and slaughterhouse waste, meaning the parts of the animal that are not fit for human consumption. It is very, very important only to choose foods that has a species listed. You never ever want to see the word animal, such as animal byproducts, animal digest, animal bone meal, animal meat, and animal fat. Why? Because when they tell you the species listed, you know that that waste comes from a chicken or a lamb or a cow, etc. If it says animal byproducts, it could be any animal, any mammal. It could be from roadkill, and that includes dogs and cats, deer, wildlife, etc. Dead zoo animals, rotted supermarket meat that goes back to the distributor, euthanized farm animals. All these substances, all these meats are placed in a huge vat, rendered and cooked at a very high temperature to kill all the bacteria and pathogens. And this is a dirty little secret of the pet food industry. They do not want you to know that all these dead animals are in the dog food you're purchasing. So never ever, when you read through the label, buy any product that just has a generic name of animals. Another thing we need to discuss is glutens. Glutens are the rubbery residue left after milling. It's a very inferior product because all the nutritional content of that product is gone. For instance, corn. After it's processed, the glutens or glue, which I refer to, is left over. And the last thing we need to talk about is split ingredients. This is another secret of the pet food industry. They want you to think that meat is their #1 ingredient on their label. They want you to think it's a meat-based food. So it's really important to read through the label, at least the first few lines. It may say chicken, and then you say, okay, it's a chicken-based food, then read on. It could say corn, comma, cornmeal, comma, and corn flour. If chicken was 30% of the food, it would be the first ingredients. But then if corn is 10%, cornmeal is 15%, and corn flour is 10%, if you added up those percentages, then corn would now become #1, and chicken would be #2. So in reality, it's a corn-based food. And the second thing is beef. They may say, well, beef's 20%. Read on. It could have rice, comma, rice bran, comma, and rice gluten. You add all those rice products, and then rice would be your #1 ingredient. Today we're going to analyze 3 dog foods that you can find very easily. Some of them are supermarket foods, all you can find in a big box pet store. And we're going to go over the ingredients. I want you to follow it with me and decide if this would be a food you would buy for your pet or not. So mystery product #1. If we look at the ingredients, the first ingredient is yellow ground corn. So right away you know that this is a inexpensive ingredient. That's why I put $1 sign by it. This food is going to be corn-based. The second ingredient is chicken byproduct meal. Well, it's not too bad. It tells us the species. We know it's from a chicken, so that's totally acceptable. Meal, definitely okay. We know that the protein concentrate is going to be high. This is a cheaper grade of product. Certainly real chicken is more expensive, so that is why they didn't put it on it. But look at ingredient number 3. There's our mysterious word animal. We do not know the species, where this came from. It could be from roadkill on the highway, dead zoo animals, dead animals on arrival to the slaughterhouse plant, old rotted food coming back from the supermarket. We just don't know. It's generic. And that is certainly something we do not want to see on our dog food label. Then next we have rice flour. Finally a little bit of meat. Sits at number 5. So way down on the list. Next, soy flour. This boosts the protein on the label so they can get that protein to where it needs to be. Then we have propylene glycol. This food has sugar, salt, and look again, the mysterious animal digest. This is not good. We do not know where that could be coming from. It could be from euthanized farm animals. We don't know. Then finally, some peas, carrots, a bunch of dyes, and some colors. The price of this food in a big box store or a grocery store would probably run $6.99 to $8.99 a bag. And you can find this in grocery stores anywhere. And any ideas on what this may be? Next, we're going to discuss product number 2. The first ingredient in this product is chicken. It earns $3 signs because it's an expensive ingredient. It is meant for human consumption. This would be fresh chicken. The number 2 ingredient is cornmeal, which is a coarsely ground flour made from ground corn. Corn is a very inexpensive ingredient in dog food. Next is sorghum. Sorghum is like corn. It's a starchy cereal grain with a nutrient profile similar to corn, and again is very inexpensive, so it just has $1 sign. Chicken byproducts, cheaper than the real thing, but at least they identify the species. We know it's coming from chicken and not the generic animal. Next is beet pulp, which at this point is a little controversial, followed by chicken flavor, chicken fat. Chicken gives us a species. Chicken fat is totally acceptable in dog food. Eggs, vitamins, and minerals. This food can be found in any grocery store or pet supply. It runs about $10.99 to $13.99 for a 5.7 pound bag. As far as its quality, it's an average food. It's certainly better than the first brand we looked at. At least they're identifying where these byproducts and where this fat is coming from. We know it's a chicken-based food, and we're comfortable in using chicken. We know that it's not animal, and it's not coming from some unknown source that they found in roadkill. Let's go over the ingredient list of product number 3. The first ingredient is deboned chicken. This is real chicken meant for human consumption. It just means that they've taken all the bones out of it. It earns $3 because it's the expensive ingredient in dog food. The second ingredient is chicken meal. Chicken meal is a meat concentrate and it has 300 times more protein in it than fresh chicken. Again, a very high quality fresh meat in the food. Third is brown rice. Brown rice is a carbohydrate that's easy to digest. It's of modest nutritional value and not very expensive, so it's $1 sign. Barley is a starchy carbohydrate. It supplies fiber. It's not expensive, so $1 sign. Next we have oatmeal. This is a whole grain product. It's rich in B vitamins and fiber, and it's gluten-free. Chicken fat and chicken flavor. Note the species is listed as chicken. Chicken fat is found in a lot of foods, and it's fine. Whole potato is gluten-free, which is in this meal. Then we have flaxseed, carrots, blueberries, cranberries, apples, spinach, and then a lot of vitamins and minerals. I put this food in because this is not to be found in the grocery store. You can only find it in a pet supply. It ranges between $17.99 and $19.99 a bag for 6 pounds. But I wanted to demonstrate the quality of the ingredients as we go through product number 1, product number 2, and product number 3. Even though you would have to go to a pet supply to get this food is much, much better. certainly nutritional value.
Okay.
Now we're going to do the big reveal and compare the three products we've looked at. All contain 25% protein, so they're all equal in that percentage. Product number 1 sells for $6.99 to $8.99 for a 5-pound bag. When we looked at the ingredient list, the first ingredient was corn, so we know it's basically a corn-based food. And then number 2, we had chicken byproducts. This is products that are not meant for human consumption and slaughterhouse waste. But more frightening, it lists animal and meat without the species. So we do not know where this animal and meat came from. It could be from roadkill, spoiled supermarket meat, dead, diseased, or dying cattle, and even dead on arrival animals to the slaughter plant. And it mentions this 3 times. It talks about animal and meat digest, fat, and bone meal. The second product we looked at sells for $10.99 to $12.99 for a 5-pound bag. You can again find this at any grocery store or pet store. The number 1 ingredient was chicken. The number 2 ingredient was cornmeal. And then we had some chicken byproducts, which is the inexpensive meats that are not made for human consumption. So looking at this, product number 2 is far better than product number 1. Our third product sells from $17.99 to about $18.99. You cannot find this in a grocery store. This would be in any big pet supply store. The ingredients read number 1, real fresh chicken made for human consumption. Number 2, the concentrated chicken meal. And then it had potatoes, brown rice, etc. And you can look at these 3 and basically see that you get what you pay for. The first product is very, very cheap and it has horrible ingredients. The second product is medium priced. And the third product, of course, is the best. So now let's take a look at what product number 1 and product number 2 are. Product number 1 is nothing more than Beneful. Beneful can be found anywhere. People buy Beneful because of the packaging. They certainly don't look at the label. This to me is a horrible food. I wouldn't feed it to anything. Our second food is Iams Mini Chunks. This is our average type of food. You can find this basically anywhere. And the third product, which I do not have a bag of, is Blue Buffalo Chicken and Rice Formula. And you can find this at any good quality pet store. So this concludes the video on how to read a pet food label. Just remember that if you read a bag of food and it has the word animal and doesn't list the species, look at the bag and then run down the aisle and head out the store, because that is something that you do not want to feed your pet.
Perfect. So point out which is the best again.
Benefil is not any benefit to anything, including rats.